we will always want to answer the question, how are they getting their sales? And the more sales someone's getting, the more likely they are ranked for more keywords, the more keyword data we're going to get, and we're going to get some insights into how they're winning versus the others too. So maybe they've got branded search, maybe they got a generic keyword, maybe they got a secret word that they're using or a phrase that they're using that no one else is. Maybe they're marketing in a certain way on TikTok or D2C, and people are using that search term and it's newer, right? There's going to be some really cool instances where you're going to just be able to ride the coattails of some of these things if you build your listing correctly and you can look at the data. So let's take a look at watch boxes in the UK, or in the US. Let's run a dive in the US. So now watch boxes, I know, are going to be several different styles. So the first thing we need to do is kind of decide the greater niche. You've got single boxes for travel or 2 or 3 rolls for travel, right? You've got boxes that hold a single row and they've got a nice design wooden box. You've got different materials. You've got 2 rows. You've got 2 rows and a pull-out drawer. You've got self-winding boxes, right? So you've got all these fancy boxes, watch boxes that range in price from very cheap to very expensive. And so we can look in that. All right. So very interesting. The fact that they could use the watches and the images really helps, I guess. Maybe this makes it look like there's a lot more room. This looks full. Who knows what the psychology is there? But if we look at the best sellers, this Pro Case watch box is got like an attached drawer as a jewelry box for other jewelry, some extra bands, and it's got enough to hold 6 watches. And then right next to it, you've got a 12 watch case with extra drawer, shows you what's in it. I like the open from the top view. It takes up most of the main image. Very good main image, brown and black in different colors. And then this one is just the case. So $10 less, flatter, doesn't have the extra drawer, right? But it's the same brand. So what they've done is they've got these different styles. And then this one's Rothwell. 4 of the sponsored are the same brand, much more expensive, you could tell. Here's the roll I was telling you about, you know, like a travel roll. It says travel case. This is an interesting travel case, single travel case. Maybe this is a little too diverse. Weighted stuffed animals are gonna be tough too because it's about designs, right? So we could look at that one too. Probably really tough to stand out here. Let's look at the UK market. Let's just maybe start there. One of the tips here that's very important is that when you're doing research for an overseas market, you have to have it shipped to you, not to you, to a location that's in the country that you're researching. So make sure that you add that to your SOP, because otherwise your data is not going to be as accurate. So right now I have it shipped to the United States, and you can see Song Mike's has the 2 best, Pro Case, right? They're also selling over here. But if you look at, you know, a London zip code, E11AA, Song Mike's has 4 or 5 listings. Rothwell has 2. It really changed up the results. And Pro Case is way down here. Remember, they were like 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th. Now they're like middle of page 1. So it really changes the results, and you would miss out on potential good sellers that you need their data for your dive. So make sure you always do that. This one has 400 bought. Remember, we had over 1,000 bought for the best sellers in the US. And what I'm seeing here is we got that wooden case. And it's interesting because the best sellers, you know, and the other ones, I don't know if this traditional wooden was doing better, but we'll use like this guy to run our niche dive. And let's take a look at some of these different watch cases. Then we're going to look at the keywords in the UK. We could run the dive at the same time. So what I was explaining is that the SOP is that I'm going to use the best seller that's most similar to the one that I want to sell or that I'm already selling. I'm not going to use my own if I'm not the best seller, because I want Data Dive to find the best sellers. And what we did is we wrote an algorithm called the Fit Score, where Data Dive, based on the way that this one is written and based on the attributes in the subcategory, Data Dive went to multiple keywords and multiple search terms, and it found the best sellers that it thinks are the best sellers and most related. And we just need to check that work before we formulate the niche, because we want to make sure that the niche that we're diving, we get all of their data. But sometimes it makes a mistake. So the SOP is first use the best seller that's most related to what you want to sell or that you're already selling. Run the niche dive, sort by fit score, go through and take out anything that is not related that it already automatically checked, right? If it made a mistake. And then we're going to sort by sales. And when we sort by sales, we're going to get all the fastest moving that are here. And not all of them are going to be related or similar, but some of them might be. And we want to make sure we include anyone that's making a lot of sales that is related, because we want their data. So the faster moving, we will always want to answer the question, how are they getting their sales? And the more sales someone's getting, the more likely they are ranked for more keywords, the more keyword data we're going to get, and we're going to get some insights into how they're winning versus the others too. So maybe they've got branded search, maybe they got a generic keyword, maybe they got a secret word that they're using or a phrase that they're using that no one else is. Maybe they're marketing in a certain way on TikTok or D2C, and people are using that search term and it's newer, right? There's going to be some really cool instances where you're going to just be able to ride the coattails of some of these things if you build your listing correctly and you can look at the data. First step is we look at all these watch boxes and we make sure that they're kind of everything that we want to do. I'm going to take out any travel roles from here as well, but all of these seem pretty good from my perspective. I mean, this guy's the slowest moving at 284. So this is total number of sales. I'm going to get rid of this guy, pretty slow. I'm going to sort by sales and see if there's any watch boxes here that I want. And it's good. It automatically gave the travel roles a lower fit score. So it did its job pretty good. And you can see that even with sales, most of these are on the list. So this one is a much smaller one. It does look like a travel case, but this one's interesting. It has all jewelry, extra watch straps, 4 watches. This is a cool case. It has a lock on it. I'm digging this one. Looks like they're doing pretty well. Excellent design. We got this guy here. It's just a wooden one, selling pretty well, 760 units. And this one's pretty blank, but it's there. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, you're going to love the masterclasses that we host on a regular basis. We've got over 1,000 members in our private community, and over 400 of them are already doing over $1 million. We regularly host masterclasses with hundreds of students, and you can find out more below. Join us. So we did pretty good. We've got 16. I like to have a minimum of 12 for a dive like this, but 16's plenty, and it's got watch case. I think it's good enough. So we're going to dive it. And then we're going to do the same for the other marketplace, for the UK. So the UK is here. First thing we're going to do is sort by fit score. We're going to go down and make sure that all of these are what we're looking for. These are all the multi-watch watch cases. There's the dive from the US, and all of these look the same. Here we go. All right, data dive. What we do when the SOP is you use the best seller to run the niche dive, right? You don't want to use yours or someone that isn't making a lot of sales if you're not the best seller. But you want the one that's most related, that's getting the most sales, and then that's going to be the one with 100% fit score. That's the baseline. And then what the algorithm that we wrote is that we want to have data dive go find similar products across multiple keywords, multiple subcategories, and come back and feed you a list so that you can curate the niche based on the fit score. But it doesn't always get it right. And so you remember the SOP is always going to be to sort this 2 ways. The first is we sort by fit score and we say, okay, are all of these related? Are all of these similar to what I want to sell? Maybe I don't want any of the 6 holders. I want something holding at least, 10 watches. So I could remove these, right? And I can make the niche more narrow. I can do it that way. The next step is once I deselect anything that is not here that I want, right? This one holds a ton of watches. We can offer it. I'm going to sort by sales. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to miss out on any fast movers that I want their data. And as I said before, the data is the most important part. If someone's getting their sales from a place that no one else is, we need to know about it. We need to be able to tell the story and figure it out. Can we duplicate it? Can we also be that successful? And if we don't have their data, we're just going to miss it. So we want all the data of the best sellers. And you'll see that this is a travel thing. This guy's pretty good. It's a watch display. This one looks more like a travel. You're going down in sales. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take out a few of these guys that don't really have sales. This guy's missing sales. If they have no sales, that's a root BSR though. So maybe there's something else going on here. Where are the reviews? What I like to do is look at the total number of reviews. There's the rating. Yeah, these have a ton of reviews, so I'm going to keep them. I think that they're still going to be pretty good. So we don't want to lose any of these guys. So this guy only has 80. He is a newer seller, but he is making 70 sales 2 a day. So remember, UK is a much smaller market. So then I'm just going to run the dive. I want at least 10 or 12 on the minimum for initial evaluation here. 15 to 17 is good. More than 20, it actually starts to dilute your data because we're counting the indexing of these competitors on these keywords to try to determine the competitiveness and the relevancy of the keywords. And what ends up happening is if you have a bunch of slow sellers that aren't making any sales, it's going to make these keywords appear to be less relevant because they're just showing up on no keywords, right? They're not indexed or anything. So their data is useless because they don't even have any data. And all they're doing is diluting the valuation of the niche. So don't include people who are bad at Amazon, right? If you have a product and you're not indexed well, you should include your product and then you pin it over. So if I had this seller here, pin it over. And then this way, when I sort by search volume, for example, I can see, okay, all these fast moving big keywords I'm not indexed at all for. Why is that? And I can go try to fix it, right? Now, this one's a jewelry box, watch stand. Those are different things. So we need to evaluate and clean up this list also. Now, one of the things that I would say is like, normally what we would do is we would go in and we could even, we're going to evaluate, okay, this guy's the best seller. He's got 500 sales a month, 6 variations. So he's selling less than 20 a day as the best seller. This one's selling over 10 a day, like 12 a day, 12 variations. And I'm curious, like, are the variations all the same size? Are they different sizes? And you can see they got 1, 3, and 6 and different colors for almost everything. So it's a lot of variations, a lot of options. Maybe if they're running that effectively and doing a good job with their ads, they're able to index for a lot of keywords. They don't have watch boxes. I don't know which one is this one. Men's jewelry box. None of those have like a holder for jewelry, so they don't index for jewelry box. It makes sense, right? But meanwhile, this guy here who does, he has the drawer for the jewelry, is number 2 for that. And even the bestseller isn't on the jewelry box. So we would make a decision fairly early. Are we going to do one that holds jewelry too or not? Let's look at the difference. If this is the 3rd bestseller, they sell for only 18 pounds, which is $22, $25, then maybe, we need to evaluate the profitability on something like this. Again, 11 variations, quite a bit for 12 sales a day, 10, 11, 12 sales a day.